All right.
What's
Ladies
going
and
on?
gentlemen, we are back for another
Yeah.
episode of the Opinion City Podcast. This
That's
is
right.
episode 98.
98.
We are on the road
So
to
close.
100. We are on
So
the
close.
road to the 2-year anniversary, and we make another stop off at one of our favorite places, the Monster Factory, because
Yep.
we are talking to one half of the Monster Factory Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. We have Kid Chaos on the episode today. And
Yeah.
Sean, I know he's got a top 5 that you and I are both totally into. What are we
yeah.
talking about today with
Top
Kid Chaos?
5 comic book characters.
Yeah, I'm
I love me some
excited for
comics.
that.
Yes.
Yes, that is going to be
Yes.
a lot of fun. It's going to be a great episode.
Yes.
We're super excited.
Yes.
So with that, King Ralph Parmesan here. We're ready to go. Looks like we're going to get this party started.
Yeah.
Episode 98 happens right now.
Let's do it.
All right, we're back, and
What's
we did not
happening?
come alone.
No, we did not.
We did not. All right, Kid Chaos, welcome to the show. We are super excited to have you here today.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Super excited to have you on.
Yeah. All right, so let's get things started here.
Let's dive.
What was the moment in your life that made you decide that you wanted to become a professional wrestler?
So I don't think I had like a specific moment.
Mhm.
My dad has been a wrestling fan all his life, so I grew up around wrestling. He would always have it on in the TV, and as I grew up, I just had to realize there's nothing else I want to do. I just want to wrestle. So it was just always there. It was always a part of my life, and I just knew that's all I want to do. There's nothing else. It's just professional.
Right.
Very cool.
Very cool. So, when and how did you discover the Monster Factory?
So my dad used to wrestle back in the day.
Right.
He started in 2005,
Hmm.
and eventually he made his way to the Monster Factory. He was only there for about a year, I think, and then he stopped wrestling for a while. A family, he had his own business. It just didn't fit into his life at the time.
Hmm.
And I knew, because he was there, I knew that was where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had like my 12th birthday party at the Monster Factory.
Nice.
So that was a memory I always had, and I just knew that was the place I wanted to go. So, and I told him, I said, I'm not doing it unless you go back with me.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
I'll do it with you. You can leave eventually, and he's doing it, but I want to start it with you, and I wanted to be at the Monster Factory. So we went back, and that's how it all started.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. I mean, not just, getting into the world of professional wrestling and getting to train at the Monster Factory, but doing it alongside your dad. That must have been a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Sometimes, father, son, he can get on my nerves sometimes, and I'm sure I get on his nerves sometimes.
Sure.
But it really is a special thing, because that's our thing. That professional wrestling is our thing, and to get to do that together is amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So how long have you been training at the Monster Factory now?
So I started training in January of 2024.
Okay.
Wow.
So a little over a year. I
Mhm.
had my first match at the end of September in 2024. So I really haven't been wrestling for that long. It's been about 6 months now.
Man, you wouldn't know You wouldn't know that,
No.
seeing you in the ring.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hear that a lot. You know, I've done karate all my life. My
Okay.
parents own a karate school. So
Wow.
I think that helped a lot with all that. Is I was used to, competition. I was used to being in front of people.
Yeah.
I was used to that kind of space. So I think that helped me a lot when it came to wrestling. But yeah, it's crazy how it's only been 6 months, and even I forget that sometimes.
Right.
Oh wow, it's only been 6 months, but I still have so much to learn, though. I still
Yeah.
have so much to learn, so much to get better at. It's just the beginning for me.
Wow.
So yeah.
Was it hard to go from karate to professional wrestling? Because I'm sure it's kind of different, in training and things like that.
I think professional wrestling is a whole different breed on its own.
Yeah.
I think it is, and you don't understand it until you're in it. So there's nothing like professional wrestling. So I definitely think karate helps a lot, but I don't think there's anything that can prepare you for professional wrestling.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do anything that you want, but wrestling. Everyone that we talk to says sort of the same thing, that it's just a different beast, a different type of training, different type of like mental capacity that you have to be ready for than anything else that's out there.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
So talk to us about obviously your tag team with your dad, Controlled Chaos. Your current, like I said, tag team champions. What does it mean to you to be teaming alongside your dad and to be the current 6 months in tag team champions?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, getting to do it with my dad is amazing. That's what I'm saying, getting to do that together. And we always wanted to win the tag team titles. And we always wanted it to be Monster Factory, too. So the fact that we won them this early, too, is crazy. I remember, funny enough, as I said, father, son, we get on each other's nerves. We argue a lot. And we got to a point where we were arguing a lot over different things. And, he views things differently. I view things differently. And I remember there was one night where we got into a fight over wrestling. And he was kind of like, maybe it would be better if we didn't do it together. Maybe it would take off some stress. And then 3 days later is when Danny came to us and said, "You guys are winning the tag belts."
Wow.
So that was kind of like to me, that was like a sign of, okay, we're in the right spot. We're doing the right thing. And then the night that we won them was amazing.
Yeah.
I think I was only 6 weeks in at that point, like a month and a half in.
Jeez.
And that was the first night when I went out there, and it was like I was having fun with my friends.
Yeah.
Rather than having the stress of it all, it was just go out and have fun and try and live in the moment. And I did. I'm proud of myself for that, because I remember that night very well. I remember being in the ring. I remember the feeling. And I really lived in the moment that night. And I'm happy that I got to live in the moment that night. And then being tag champs has been amazing. We're trying our best to really make the belts mean something, make the tag team division mean something. Not as much for us, but for the Monster Factory and for the tag teams as a whole. And we've had a blast. The past 5-6 months have been amazing.
That's really cool. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about your experience, training at the Monster Factory, maybe what it's been like being there with Danny, and the whole experience you've had.
Yeah, it's been great. Everybody there is so nice, so easy to work with. Danny's great. I love Danny. Again, Danny gave me and my dad the opportunity. He gave us the platform. I'll forever appreciate that. And, that always means something to me. And Danny gave that to us. And yeah, training is hard. It's not easy.
Right.
Sure.
They hit your butt, they get you tired, but that's part of the job,
Yeah. So now, how often do you go to training? Do you try and go every day, 3 times a day? Like,
so I go. Normally, I'll do Tuesday nights, Wednesday mornings, Thursday nights, and Sunday mornings.
Okay.
Lately, I haven't been there as much on Sundays as my life's just been busy.
Yeah.
But I try to do 3 or 4 times a week.
hmm
So you mentioned earlier that you remember your 12th birthday party at the Monster Factory. Now they still do birthday parties there. So tell me, what is a birthday party like at the Monster Factory?
Yeah, so normally we'll bring all the kids into the ring and the parents, if any of the parents want to do it. We'll put the crash pad in the ring. We'll let them jump off the top
Nice.
on the dummy that we have. And then, they'll eat pizza, have the food and all that. And then we'll put on a mini show. We'll go in the vat. We'll put together 2 or 3 matches. And we go out and we have the matches and they get to watch.
That's pretty cool.
That sounds amazing. Jumping off the top rope and getting to eat pizza. Are you kidding me? Like that would be a perfect afternoon for me. My wife would kill me, but that would be a perfect afternoon.
Isn't that your dream goal, is to go off the top rope and hit an elbow drop?
Okay, so I have mentioned this to people before. Like all I want to do is drop an elbow off the top rope, and then I'm done. I've thrown a choke slam before. I got to choke slam somebody, and that was kind of cool. And my wife doesn't watch this show, so I can't get in trouble. But I just want to jump off the top rope and hit an elbow drop, and literally then I'm done. Like that's it. I don't need anything
retired.
else.
One move, I'm done.
I will get up off the crash pad or the dummy or whatever, and I will grab a microphone and announce my retirement right there. Be amazing.
Well, hey, come have a birthday party at the Monster Factory.
See, now we've talked about that. It is a real possibility. You never know. I was thinking that could be a lot of fun, but
they do also have, like an adult version of the birthday parties.
Right.
So, something to look into if you want.
As long as there's still pizza at the adult versions, I'm in. Right. If I'm dropping an elbow drop, I deserve a slice of pizza.
That's great. Oh man. So, can you sort of describe like you and your dad's like in-ring dynamic as a tag team?
Yeah. So, the father-son thing. Obviously, we try to play into that as much as we can. We're always trying to come up with new tag team moves. We have like a whole list of just tag team moves now. That way every match we have something new. Something
nice.
Something that people haven't seen. But yeah, I mean, it's fun, being on the apron and watching your dad get beat up or watching him get beat up.
Right, yeah.
or one of us messes up, and then later in the night, we'll be like, haha, look at this, you messed up.
Look at this. You messed that part up. That's your fault.
Yep, make fun of each other, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously. Put on a good show, have a good match, and then make fun of each other. Have fun.
Listen, that sounds like a great night with Dad.
Right? We watch the matches when we get home. We sit down, we'll put it on the TV, watch the matches together. Break it down. Here's what we could have done better. Here's what we like. Here's what we didn't like. Well, here's this for the next match. Take this out.
Yeah.
So speaking about the dynamic between you and your dad, so you guys are both professional wrestling fans. Do you guys watch a lot of wrestling now, like on TV?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you guys tend to like the same wrestlers, or are you guys like on opposite ends of that?
Both. So
okay.
He likes to do this thing that if I like somebody a lot, he's not going to like them.
Yep.
Nice. Yep.
But sometimes if it's somebody that he really likes, then we'll both like them. But most of the time, if I really like somebody, he's like, "Oh no, they suck." But in reality, he likes them. He'll just say that.
Right? Yeah. Sure. Messy a little bit.
We do enjoy the same style, though. We like the same style. We like the same matches for the most part.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I do that kind of stuff to my wife all the time too. Of course, I tell her Solo Sikoa is her favorite, and that just drives her up the wall because she cannot stand him at all. But we both like Drew McIntyre, so we get along there. Like,
there you go.
Have, a good rapport there.
One thing in common.
Yeah, one thing. It's not terrible.
Right.
So speaking of current wrestling, well, let's just stay on that for the moment. So what who are some of your favorites to watch right now?
Yeah, so we watch a lot of tag teams. It's for tag
Mhm.
team.
Mhm.
Sure.
And I think the tag team division in WWE right now is amazing.
Mm.
You got
Right.
DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns,
Mhm.
Axiom and Nathan Frazier in
So
NXT.
good.
So many good tag teams. My favorite tag team and my favorite wrestlers ever are the Hardy Boys. Jeff and Matt.
Yes.
So and
Yes.
they're still hitting it in TNA. So I'm always watching their stuff
Yeah.
and getting ideas from them. And then in terms of singles guys, some of my favorites. I love CM Punk.
Yeah.
I love listening to him. I think he's one of the best talkers.
Yeah.
I love Sheamus. He's one of my guys.
Sheamus
I've
is
always
great.
liked Sheamus.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio. I'm a little guy, so
Mhm.
I like watching Rey Mysterio. I get a lot of cool ideas from him. Although
Right.
I can't do nearly as much of what he can do,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But I always like watching the little guys though. Get ideas from them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be body slamming and suplexing many people.
Right. You're right.
Sure.
I can do it, of course. I can do it if I have to, but
Yeah.
I try to stay away from those.
Right. Right. Now, do you watch only WWE, or do you kind of just watch whatever you can, whether it's AEW, ROH, TNA?
We watch everything. To be honest with you, we're not the biggest AEW fans.
Okay. Okay.
But we do follow it though. We'll
Mhm.
follow it. We watch, the highlights and all that.
Mm.
Right.
We watch TNA, NXT, Raw, SmackDown. We don't watch as much like Ring of Honor, but like New Japan, Ring of Honor, we'll see stuff. We follow it. We just don't always watch it a ton.
Right.
But there's also so much out there to watch.
There's so much out there.
Oh,
It's like
Absolutely.
we've never been more grateful, but also like stressed because there's so much wrestling to follow
So
now. It's
hard
not
to
even
keep
funny.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have our own wrestling that we're doing, and then to have to follow everything is not always easy.
Yeah, I can't imagine because you have to go to training, go to the gym, go to the
Jeez.
you have to so much to do with your schedule on top of watching as much as you can.
Yeah.
So we try to watch as much as we can. But
Sure.
WWE is definitely a big thing, though.
Mhm.
That's always been number one to us personally.
Right.
So that's the main one. We watch every PLE. We
Mhm.
always, if we miss a Raw or SmackDown, we always watch the highlights.
Right.
We always know what's going on, even if we're not watching the show.
Mhm.
But we try to watch everything as much as we can. The WWE is definitely our main one, though.
Now, as a wrestler and a fan, when you guys watch wrestling, do you find yourself critiquing a lot of the moves on TV, or do you find yourself just enjoying it as a fan still?
Yeah, I have a problem where I can't watch it and not watch as a fan.
Okay.
People say that, like, watch it, but not as a fan, but as a wrestler, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I get too caught up in what I'm watching.
Right.
Sometimes I'll go back and I'll study matches, but even then, when I'm supposed to be studying, most of the time that doesn't last long.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get caught up in the match. It's just what happens with me. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll always pick out moves though. Like, oh, that was cool. Oh, that was cool. Maybe we can try that.
Right.
But we don't really critique matches or study them.
Mm-hmm.
But we will pick things out. We're like, oh, that's cool. Maybe we'll try that. But we do watch it more as a fan because that's what it turns into accidentally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So were you a fan of the John Cena heel turn? That's the big question.
Yeah, I love John Cena. Jeff Hardy and John Cena are my two.
There you go.
So if John Cena turns heel, I'm turning heel with him.
Yeah, listen.
That's genius.
Listen, John's very happy that you said that.
Yes, you can't make me not like John Cena.
Oh,
So
boy.
I loved it. We popped like crazy. But the moment his face turned, and the
Right,
light
yeah.
thing, we were jumping out of our chairs.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I think it's a ballsy move to do that on
Yeah.
the retirement tour,
For sure.
but it's we were really happy. This is different. We've never seen that before with John.
I mean, 25 years of being. Well, I mean, there was a small heel turn in between when he was, but for the most
Yeah.
part, 20 years of
For the
being a
most part,
face. It's no one thought it would happen. No one thought it would happen.
No.
Everyone thought it would never happen. But we're finally here, and it's almost like, is it too late because the fans are still cheering him because they're happy that he finally turned heel. Like,
Yeah.
it's like we're happy that you turned heel, so like we're gonna cheer you even though we want to boo you. You don't know what to do now.
Yeah, I think he's doing some of the best work of his career. I think the promos that he's been doing the last few weeks, it shows the skill that he has. Because people always give him crap and say, oh, you can't you can't wrestle, or
Right.
we hear the same old thing from all the time. But I think he's really been doing a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, especially now. Like he's able to show like, hey, I still got it. And I think that's great. Because now on his retirement tour, people aren't going to say you can't wrestle. Because now he's flipped the switch and everything he's doing is so good. Now all they can talk about is how good it is and not you can't wrestle. Which he can wrestle. He's just different now that he's older. And he doesn't do it every week. So it's not the same.
Yeah,
But
I can imagine.
he can wrestle fine. It's John Cena.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, at the end of the day, yeah, it's John Cena.
Yeah, he's John.
So kind of sticking with wrestling, and the product. So I already know what's going to happen when I ask this question. It's going to be terrible, but that's all right. I'll get through it.
I'll get through it.
What is your earliest memory of professional wrestling?
So my earliest memory is WrestleMania 28.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
At that point, I was probably like 7 or 8. So I was pretty young. So I think I watched it before that. So that's like when I really started to watch every week. And that's my first memory. I remember the first match was Daniel Bryan and Sheamus.
Yeah,
It was like
the
18
that
seconds or whatever.
yeah, that train wreck.
And I remember my dad went upstairs and he's like, I'll be like that. And then the match is over. I was like, Dad, the match is over.
Right.
And he's like, what? And he didn't even see it. He was upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a shame because like they had great matches before that Mania match. And they're like, yeah, no, just it's over. Just like, no.
Done.
And I remember the month later, they had one of my favorite matches at Extreme Rules.
So I'm saying like they can do good matches together, but for some reason Mania they said no. 18 seconds, we're done, we're out. Like they just.
I was watching a podcast that Sheamus was on, and I think he talked about that match, and he said for whatever reason they had to cut a match, and it was either CM Punk and Chris Jericho or Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, and they went with Sheamus and Bryan.
That's
So
like how do you pick from those two matches? How do you pick from those two matches?
and Punk and Jericho had a great match too.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and Punk and Jericho had a really good build up to that match too. The story they were telling, it was very relatable to people.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So sticking with wrestling for you, maybe tell us what are some of your favorite matches that you've had at the Monster Factory or elsewhere.
So there's 3 matches, and all 3 of them are with the Broad Street Bullies.
Nice.
Okay.
Great tag team. Great tag team.
Yeah, we love those guys. And the first big match we had was that in December. I think One Last Fight was the name of it. So it was at Monster Factory. It was our first defense with the tag belts. And putting that match together was so much fun. I remember when I first started training, I was watching the shows, and I remember telling my dad, I was like, you're going to like these guys, Jake and Liam. And he didn't know who they were in the beginning. I was like, you're going to like them. Just wait. And then he went in, and he was like, yeah, I like those guys. And then we got to work with them, and it was like, wow. I think the 4 of us have really good chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
Both of them are amazing guys. They're so easy to work with, and they're so fun to work with. They'll do anything. And every idea you give to Jake, he's just sits there and he's like, love it.
Right.
Every idea. And then Liam is so athletic. Liam can do anything.
Yeah,
Um,
Liam is incredible.
Yeah.
We've seen him firsthand, both of them firsthand, and Liam and both of them as a team, as solo guys, they're both incredible in the ring.
we love working with those guys. Like I said, we have 3 matches with them. Those would be my favorite 3. But to give you a few other matches, not just with them, we had a match. We actually just had a match on Friday with Christian Rocco, and Oliver.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we've been wanting to work them for a while. And finally we were like, we just had a match on TLO. And they gave us the match. And we had a lot of fun with that match. There were a few minor things that were a little off. But that probably is one of my favorite matches with them. And then we had a match that in February with Mark Rashford and Sebastian Valentino.
Yeah, they're getting good too.
Yes, that was a really fun match. We thought we were going to have more time, so we had to cut a few things. So when I watched that match, I can't help but think it could have been just a little bit better.
Right.
We didn't have to cut the little bit of time. But I'm still really happy with that match, though. That was probably one of my other favorite matches with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. So thinking forward, thinking ahead, whether it be maybe 2025 or down the road, what kind of goals do you have for yourself in professional wrestling?
Yeah, so right now, we're just really trying to get our name out there. Wrestle as much as we can, get our name out there. Trying to win as many tag team titles as we can.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yes.
That's the goal, I would say. Long term, we think it would be really cool if one day we could get into TNA. Not right now,
Ooh.
obviously. But
Mhm.
when we look at the tag team division in TNA, that's kind of the spot that we would like to land, if possible, a few years
Right.
down the line. And then the main dream would be WWE. I mean,
course.
there's so many wrestlers all
Mhm.
over the world that, there's the chance of that happening is very slim. But that's the ultimate dream, would be to make it in the WWE one day. But I would say the more realistic goal would be maybe TNA in a few years if we could do it.
Right. Well, I mean, you'd have to think about which schedule you want to do more, because obviously WWE's schedule is a little bit more relaxed, but it's still long and arduous. While TNA's is like you can go in there on a weekend, film some stuff, and then you're out for the week. Like you have time to like chill on it.
And I would like to have TNA to how to get used to being on TV.
Yeah.
To get used to that kind of schedule. I don't know if I'd want to be thrown right into WWE.
Right. Right.
That would be a lot. I feel like TNA is a good spot to build our name up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and have a little something behind us before we go to a bigger company, if possible.
Yeah. Sure.
And the way things are going right now, with TNA, you'll get experience, with NXT guys and the crossovers and things like that. So there's a lot of really good opportunities for people in TNA or NXT right now to kind of really make a name for themselves. So that would be a great place to go.
Yeah, for sure. The crossover with NXT and TNA is great.
It's been incredible. It's been
NXT
like
is so good right now too. So now too, you get into TNA, you never know what other doors will open up.
Exactly. Well, I mean, who would have thought that we would even have this crossover? We never thought that WWE would work with anybody, and now they're signing deals with TNA and this and that, and now we're like
they're letting their people do indie shows.
Yeah, they're sending their people out to smaller shows.
insane.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Now, what are your thoughts on the WWE ID?
Yeah, I think it's awesome because it's a way of, you don't have to be signed to NXT, you don't have to be signed to TNA, so it gives independent wrestlers an opportunity to be a part of something bigger and maybe make it onto the bigger stage one day. So I love that for us as wrestlers, that we get that opportunity. And that would be amazing. I would love to be WWE IG one day. I'm not ready yet. I'm definitely not ready yet. But that's something that would be a really cool goal to have, and to be able to do that one day would be really cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's so many opportunities these days for independent wrestlers to get out there and get seen. They're doing this Evolve show on Tubi, and I've watched a couple episodes of that, and I mean, you really see that surface level of indie talent that people may not know about or may not have seen before. But there's so many opportunities now for independent guys to get in front of a lot of people. I mean, look at the Monster Factory. Now, TRL, you guys are on YouTube, and YouTube is huge for wrestling right now, for, people putting their shows up there, and, so who knows who could go on there and take a look at you guys and say, we want to work with them.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like you said, there's so much right now for independent wrestlers, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities and places for us to go, and that's amazing that we get that opportunity.
Yeah. It's crazy that, like, not only do we have a saturation of wrestling, but now we have a saturation of wrestlers that want to be on the big shows. There's wrestlers literally everywhere vying for that spot. So it's like, we really are saturated. Like, we as wrestling fans now are spoiled with wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, so let's step away from wrestling for a little bit here. Tell us about maybe some hobbies or things you like to do outside of the ring when you're not training or watching wrestling.
Yeah, so I mean, as you can see over here and in the background, I collect Legos. So I love to build Legos when I have free time. They're so expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
They are.
The prices are crazy, so I don't build as many anymore. But I love to build Legos. I'm a big comic book and superhero nerd. So I watch all the TV shows, all of the movies.
Nice.
I read the comic books. I'm not as big into the actual comic books.
Right.
I'm not a big reader, but like I said, I love the shows. I love the movies. The video games. I'll play the video games when they come out.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't play as many video games anymore, but that is one of my hobbies. I will play video games.
Right.
Family time with my friends. It's always a good hobby. Tattoos. I love long arm tattoos.
Nice.
I was like, your arm is bare, sir. There's no tattoo there.
That's a John Cena tattoo. You can't see it.
Yes. Right here, John Cena tattoo.
Right there, you can't see.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been building Legos for? And do you have? Well, you mentioned it off there, but do you have a favorite Lego set?
Yes. So my favorite is the Death Star from Star Wars. It's right next to me, but you can't see it in the screen. And I have it sitting on my desk. That was definitely my favorite one. I wanted that one for years. I finally got it. In terms of how long I've been building, since I was a child. I don't know exactly how long, but probably 7 or 8.
Right.
And when I was younger, I would just play around with them. I wouldn't always build it. Now I like the experience of sitting down and just building it.
Right.
And then putting it up and displaying it.
Yeah.
So I think I might know this answer already, because I think I see something that gives me this answer already. But when it comes to video games, are you an Xbox guy or a PlayStation guy?
I'm an Xbox guy.
Yeah, I saw it back there.
It barely works anymore. It's like half broken. So I don't use it that much, but...
Is it the Xbox One still?
Yeah, it's not the first one. There's like the Xbox One S.
Okay.
Yeah, the Series S,
Yeah.
It's old. It doesn't work too well anymore. I use my computer more for my games now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm an Xbox guy, but my dad's a PlayStation guy.
Ah.
I have the PlayStation in the basement.
Dad knows what's going on. Yeah. I need to start asking people before they come on the show, are you an Xbox guy or a PlayStation guy? And if they tell me they're Xbox, I'm like, well, I got a spot for you in about 6 months, maybe, But if you're a
little bit.
PlayStation guy, we'll
Right.
we'll get your
We'll
camera.
pop you
We'll
right in.
record right
Pop
now.
you right in
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
I'm an
will
Xbox
say,
guy, so it's fine.
I do think that over the years, PlayStation has gotten better. In that
Mhm.
sense. I do think it's better now. But I've had Xbox all my life, so
Right.
I'm gonna stick with the Xbox. But I do think PlayStation has gotten better than Xbox. over the
Right.
years.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of your favorite games that you currently play?
I always play the WWE games.
Okay,
That's
cool.
I don't have the new one yet, but every single one of those I play. Really, that's like the main game that I play now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would play Minecraft a lot.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice.
I can't sit down though and just build. Like, it's boring to me now. I can't do that. Sometimes, like every once in a while, I can play for a little while.
Yeah.
What are games? I'll play any of the superhero games, like the Batman
Nice.
games. I
Nice.
love
Oh.
the Batman games.
Batman.
The Arkham
Batman
games
Arkham games
are
amazing.
incredible. Oh,
Yes, I love the Arkham games. I've played all of them. The Spider-Man games,
yes.
the newer ones, I love those
Mhm.
ones. There's some of the Spider-Man and the Batman games are some of my favorites.
I am so behind on the Spider-Man games. I finished
Right.
I finished the first one, and I'm like partway through Miles Morales. I was taking my time because I didn't have a PlayStation 5, so I couldn't like play Spider-Man 2. So I was just kind of taking my time, but I got a PlayStation 5 on a Black Friday sale, and so now I'm like kind of kicking myself because, like, you know, the WWE games that takes up a lot of my time, and
Yep.
you know, not having the new one is okay because 24 was like a masterpiece.
Really good.
24
Yeah.
is such a good game.
Mhm.
You know, 25 has a few new things, but 24 was really, really good.
Yeah, I like 24 a lot. I just like having the updated roster every year.
Right.
Yeah,
That's my
Yeah.
favorite part. Just having the new people to play with.
sure.
That's the first thing I do is if I get a new game and they're behind. What's great about them now is that you can go into community creations, have other people recreate stars that aren't in the game,
Oh yeah.
and I download them that way. They're up to date, but they're always just made so well, and I'm like, I don't have that kind of time, so thank you for making it for me.
Yeah, right.
And they do it so fast, too. It's like
Yeah.
2 days after the game comes out, they'll have everybody you need.
Yeah, everyone you wanted
Oh,
to download them
insane.
all. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's insane how fast they. Yeah, it's incredible. But yeah,
It's
I love having the
unbelievable,
modern
man.
day rosters, too, because like it's sort of a catch-22 because you have it set for a certain date, but then by that point everything's done. So all the new stars that have come out since the game has been finished are
Yeah.
not in the game. So it's like,
Yep.
what are we doing?
Or half of them are gone already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or they
Hmm.
become DLCs in like 4 months from now. They'll be
Yeah.
dropped on the game.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to Sean's favorite
Yeah.
moment. This is Sean's big thing. This is what he loves. So,
I do.
Sean,
I do.
it's time for the final question of the interview. So, Sean,
Yeah.
take it away.
It's my favorite part because, and I know Ralph loves it a little bit too, because we get such
I do.
diverse answers from this question from a lot of different wrestlers and a lot of people that we've asked. So for you, Kid Chaos, what does pro wrestling mean to you, and what is the significance that it has had on your life?
So I think the best thing about professional wrestling is that it can be anything you want it to be. And that's what I think is personally the best thing. So one person can view it one way, one person can view it the other way. It's an art form, and you can view art in any way you want. To me, professional wrestling is like, it's hard to explain, but I view it as like a way to show that you can do anything. If that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
makes sense. Sure.
You know, I'm different. I have a disability, and my life is very different than most people. And professional wrestling is something that people have told me you can't do that. You know, and there's a lot of reasons. You know, I don't sweat. You know, I wear hearing aids, and when I wrestle, I don't wear my hearing aids, and I can hear without them, but not great.
Mhm.
When you're in a match, you talk to each other. and my head and my skin is a lot more fragile than most people. So I have to wash my head on the mat and all that. And I have lung disease, so my cardio is a lot worse than other people's.
Mhm.
But I make it work, and that goes back to professional wrestling to be anything you want it to be. I can make it work however I need to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show that, hey, if you're different or this or that doesn't mean you can't do it. And that goes for anything, not just professional wrestling. But you can use professional wrestling to show that hey, you may have this against you or that against you, but you can do whatever you want, whether it's professional wrestling or whether it's anything else.
Yeah,
that's incredible. It's very inspiring for people, to look at someone who has overcome a lot of things to get into the ring and do this. And, again, we talked about this earlier, you would never know that you're like 6 months out from your first match. So to be able to get in there and do that, and especially, doing it with your dad, I couldn't imagine wrestling with my dad. Like it just would not be a thing, but here you are, and you're living the dream. You're out there with your dad. You're doing it, and just a great inspiration for people, to be honest.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, that wraps up the first portion of our event today, which means it is time for our main event, top 5 list. And Sean, can you remind me and those out there who may have forgotten, what are we talking about today?
Top 5 comic book characters.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So excited.
Now, you mentioned something before about comic books, and I feel like comic books are in the same vein as professional wrestling right now, because if you want to follow somebody in comic books, like I'm a fan of the X-Men. I'd have to read like 19 books every month just to, follow up with it. So I think it's in the same boat, but I'm super excited to hear your top 5 comic book characters. I'm excited.
Yeah, so number 1 is a popular choice. Nothing crazy, but it's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. All right. Cool. Cool.
I love with Spider-Man. I like the fact that it's, how do I explain it? He's not like a super serious character. Like he'll be in the middle of a fight and he'll just be cracking jokes and having fun. And I like that about him. It's a cool like character dynamic that he has. And I love his villains. The Sinister Six. He has so many cool villains.
Mm-hmm.
He has cool costumes that he wears, different colors, different looks. Every comic book you read, he has a new look.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think Spider-Man represents. I think what he represents is like, hope, bravery.
Right.
He is one of the I don't know the words. He's one of the not coolest superheroes. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But he's one of like the goodest superheroes.
Yeah. Oh, he's very honourable.
Right. Yeah. Honorable.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's got.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
Right. Yeah.
Spider-Man's really cool, and I don't think enough people give him. I don't think enough people give Spider-Man credit for having such a great group of like villains either. Everybody always talks about how Batman has all these great villains, but Spider-Man's got a ton of great stuff going on there. And I mean, you get Venom and Carnage from Spider-Man, so how could you go wrong?
Right? Yeah, I love his villains. That's part of the villains make the hero, and the hero makes the villain.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have good villains, then the hero's not going to be as good. If you don't have a good hero, then the villain's not going to be as good.
And I think for Spider-Man, everyone tends to forget, and it's scary to think that he's always pulling back his punches because of what he can do. If he wanted to, he could wreck you.
Yeah.
He could absolutely wreck you. Does he do it? No. He pulls back. But if he wanted to, he could wreck every villain that he's ever fought in like a second.
Yeah,
and that's a scary thought.
And that's part of the dynamic I like. Is that Peter Parker is just a person.
Right.
But when he wants to, though, he can he can take hills to the head guys. He
Yeah.
shows that a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very relatable.
Yes.
Because he doesn't just go through all the superhero issues, but you see so much of like his real life and how much,
Right.
how things affect his real life and his relationships, and it's very relatable to people.
Yeah, and he's a kid too, so
Right.
growing up, he's not like a full-on adult. It's
Mhm.
almost like he's growing up with you, and you're growing up with him in a way.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and then for number 2, you mentioned the X-Men. So I have Wolverine at number 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wolverine's
Excellent.
just cool. I think that's all I got. Wolverine's just cool. The claws are awesome. I
Yeah.
love the blue and yellow colors. I've always loved the X-Men. It's probably my favorite group in all the
Nice.
comic books. And I know Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men, but to me, Wolverine's always been the main X-Men.
Is he though? Is he?
Well,
Well, listen.
technically he is, but
Right.
Yeah.
But Wolverine's the main X-Men to me.
Yeah. Oh, I love the X-Men. They were always my favorite. I've always been a Magneto fan. I think for me, he's the greatest villain in the history of comic books. I just think he's
Right.
everything he does, and the fact that he believes so wholeheartedly that everything he's doing is right. He has never wavered from that. And Wolverine's a great foe for him.
Yeah.
They've had a very twisted history. With him ripping the adamantium out of Wolverine at one point. And just, but yeah, Wolverine's the cool kid at the table. Like he's, yeah, he's always the one that's got the cool one-liners and he never seems to care about anything. Like nothing bothers him.
Nope.
They could be in the middle of a fight and, getting their butts handed to him and he don't care, just,
Nope.
light a cigar and hang out and,
He's just cool.
yeah. Yeah, there's no other way.
There's
to
really no
describe
other
him.
way to
He's
say it.
the
He's just cool.
epitome of cool. Yeah. Good choice.
And then number 3, I would have Batman.
Batman.
Yeah.
All right.
Batman's other than Spider-Man, Batman has the best villains.
Right.
And I like the dynamic with Batman because there's always some kind of internal struggle
Right.
with his character. And I like with Batman how they always match it up with the villains.
Right.
That makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
And Batman's cool. Like,
Right.
again, so back to Wolverine, like, Batman's just cool. Who thought dressing up like a bat is cool? But Batman is
Right.
cool. And I love Batman's fights. Being a karate
Right.
guy, I love fights, and I think Batman is one of the best fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And he has so many cool gadgets and
Right.
Yes.
Batmobile.
Right.
All the cool
It's just
toys.
so much. What's there not to like about Batman?
Right. Now, there was a big debate for a while now. I don't know if it's still going on, maybe as much. So maybe I can ask you and get your opinion on it. There was a thing going around that Batman technically isn't a superhero because he has no powers. He's just a guy that has a lot of gadgets. So would you qualify him as a superhero even though he technically doesn't have superpowers?
Well, I guess it kind of depends on what you define a superhero as.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, super means you have powers, but a hero can be anyone, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say, yeah, he's a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
For me, a superhero isn't about the powers.
Mm-hmm.
It's about just being a hero and what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand the argument of saying he's not a superhero. But even though he likes to have superpowers, I mean, he's rich. That is his
Right.
Right.
That's the
yeah.
biggest power you can have is that you have money.
Batman's the kind of
He's got the gadgets, so
yeah, he's the kind of guy that always has a chip on his shoulder, and he's always got that lingering issue behind him, but he takes that and he uses what he has to go out and make the city better, make the city safer for people so that people don't go through the same thing that he went through. And I think that says enough about him to qualify him as a superhero.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's why the dynamic. It's like he knows how messed up he is.
Right.
So he tries to make sure that everybody else isn't like him.
Yeah,
And I like that dynamic with him.
Right.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 4 is Captain America.
Captain America.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know a lot of people are Iron Man guys. I'm a Captain America guy.
Right. You're right.
Similar to Spider-Man in the way, to me, Captain America is the definition of a superhero.
Right.
You know, he represents hope. He represents bravery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, never giving up. Like, to me, he is a superhero. Like, when you think of a superhero, you think of Captain America.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I know most people would say Superman, but I'm not a big Superman guy. So
Mm.
to me, Captain America is like the superhero.
Mhm.
And similar to Spider-Man, I relate to Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I said, the hope and the never giving up. So I relate to Cap a lot. And I just like how like bare knuckles Cap is. He just uses his hands. He's
Mhm.
got a shield and he's using his hands. He
Right.
doesn't
yeah.
fly, you know, he's got super strength and all that. But he's just a baller. You know, he's
Yeah.
on the ground, he can hit you. That's all he's got, and I like that about Cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's again, the definition of good, but he takes being a good guy and makes that cool.
Right.
Because
Right.
Captain America is a really cool guy. I mean, you see the different versions of him throughout movies and things, but he's just, everything about him is cool, and he makes it. I think that's the point that John Cena was missing. Like,
Right.
John Cena was always the good guy, but he could never make it like he was the
Cool.
coolest guy in the room, even though he was like the squeakiest clean good guy. But Captain America figured out how to do it. Like, he's,
Yeah.
I mean, he started out as, a hero to millions of people and kids, in the World War II era. And
Mm-hmm.
he just, I don't know, there's always something about him that you just look at him and you're like, man, I wish I was that guy.
Yep. And you made the comparison. I think John Cena is Captain America
Mm.
of WWE. Like, to
Right.
me, he represents hope and never giving up. Like,
Yeah,
I how to relate those two together.
absolutely.
So then, if John Cena is Captain America in WWE, who's Iron Man?
Oh,
Ooh,
that's
that's a good one. Man. Jeez, who would I say is Iron Man?
you could say The Rock.
Ooh,
That's not bad.
Okay. All right.
Because you had that dynamic of John and The Rock and Iron Man, Captain America. And Iron Man's a bit more egotistical and thinks
Right.
Mhm.
and that kind of goes with The Rock. And The Rock's a great talker, and Iron Man's a great talker.
Right.
So you can compare those two together.
My
Iron
first
Man's rich, The Rock is rich.
right. My
Well-
first thought was CM Punk minus the alcohol.
Well, well, okay. So I think that The Rock is a really good choice, because if you
It
think
is.
about it, there's always something going on between Captain America and Iron Man. They're always like, even when they're on the same team, they're still, they're
something.
morally different. Like, there's different thought processes there. And you look at John Cena and The Rock and the 1 year buildup they had to their match. And
Right.
like, it's just them going at each other like you would imagine Captain America and Iron Man are going at each other. But in the end, just like John Cena and The Rock, Captain America and the Iron Man are still on the same team.
Right.
Which now you're seeing, even as bad guys, John Cena and The Rock are on the same team. So I really like that comparison. I think that one works out pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would
then-
say CM Punk is.
There
Maybe Thor.
you go.
Because Punk
Maybe.
kinda has like a god complex to him.
Right.
Thor
Sure,
has
sure.
him too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's who pops up the top of my head for Punk.
That's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
It's not a bad choice.
No,
There's definitely
I'll
somebody
go with it.
better for Punk, but Thor is who I thought of immediately.
Mm.
I was gonna say Wolverine maybe for Punk.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, Punk's a smaller guy, like Wolverine is a smaller guy, and
Right.
he kind of wisecracks at things and doesn't really, take anything too seriously.
Right.
Yeah, you could imagine, him watching everybody fight and just like standing back and, just taking it easy. Like, why should I get involved? Like, what do I care
Right.
what they're doing? You know,
Right.
even though he's in the fight, he don't care.
Right. Right.
So that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my number 5 and my number 6 always change.
Ooh, there's a 6.
Ooh,
There's
It
a
does.
6.
Because I can never pick between the two.
Okay.
It depends on the day.
Okay.
Mhm.
But it's either The Flash or Green Arrow.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
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 Like I said, every day is different. One day The Flash will be 5 and Arrow is 6, and the other day Arrow will be 5 and Flash is 6. I kind of relate those, like put those two together.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with The Flash and the Arrow TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
So that kind of like put them together for me. The Flash, I always liked the super speed. I
Right.
always liked that they take his super speed and they make it so that he can do different things. He can run on water, he can run up walls, he can run through walls. But it's not just super speed. They make it so that he can use the super speed to do other things, and I always like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And I like the character of the Flash. Going
Yeah.
back to Spider-Man, Captain America. It's a very hopeful character. You know,
Mhm.
who always pushes through, never gives up. And then Green Arrow is similar to Batman to me.
Mhm.
He has a lot of his own issues, but over time that kind of helps him become a better person.
Right.
Yeah.
He tries to help people so that they're not like him. And I like
Yeah.
the darkness and the grittiness of Green Arrow.
Right.
You know, it's not as nice and all that. He's a little more
Mhm.
rough around the edges, and I like that. But
Right.
Yeah, him and Batman seem to have a lot of stuff in common because they're it's a grittier lifestyle.
Yeah,
you know, and
for
they
sure.
both have, they both live in cities that kind of really are almost a character in themselves. You
Yeah.
know? And the Arrow TV show was amazing. Arrow was really good.
I love the Flash show too. I think the first 3 seasons of the Flash was perfect.
Yeah, I heard that after that it kind of fell off.
Yeah, I would say if you took out every season of the Flash but the first 3, I would say it's the best superhero show ever.
Right.
But
All right.
there's like 5 more seasons out of it.
Yeah. It's long. It's long.
It's just not good after the 3rd season, but the first 3 are so good.
Right. I do like the Flash, and I like how some of his biggest villains are just like himself. Reverse Flash, like just him,
Yeah.
but the exact opposite of what he stands for and what he is.
Yes, I
Like-
think the Flash has some of the best villains
Yeah.
when they use them properly.
Right.
Yeah. I like that the Flash can run fast enough to like change time. I always
Right.
thought that was like a very, because you never think about that, but then
Right.
when they do it, you're like, oh, that's brilliant. Like the way that they used that power for something so like out of left field, like you didn't
As
see
it's-
it coming.
Especially because the whole idea is that if he runs backwards, that's what reverses time.
Yeah,
Like if he
it's
runs that
insane.
fast and in reverse, then he's winding it back.
Mhm.
And like I said, he had super speed, but they find ways to do so many other cool things with just
Yeah.
super speed.
Mhm.
Like
And
his ability to like throw lightning because of his speed, like he can just do random things like that. Like, hey, lightning speed. Ah, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, that, again, that's a great top 5 for us
Mhm.
here because we're all
Mhm.
we're all big,
We're all
comic
nerds.
nerds and we love superheroes and all that stuff. All right. So let me ask you this before we move on. Two quick questions here. It's really one question but 2 answers. If you had to pick, what was your favorite DC movie and what's your favorite Marvel movie?
So my favorite
Ooh.
movie ever is Avengers Endgame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I know a lot of people like Infinity War better, but I like Endgame because it's the culmination of everything.
Right.
So all 11 or 12 years, whatever it was,
Everything. Yeah.
ends in that one movie. And everybody's together, and I like that. With
Yeah.
Endgame.
Mhm.
For DC, probably Batman The Dark Knight Rises.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Again, everybody likes The Dark Knight with
Mhm.
Joker. I like The Dark Knight Rises better. I love Bane.
I love Bane. I loved
I
him
love
in Bane. It was
Tom
great.
Hardy as Bane. And I don't know why, but there's something about the Dark Knight Rises that I like better than the Dark Knight. So,
Well, I think everyone equates the Dark Knight more because of Heath Ledger's incredible portrayal of the Joker, which because when it first came out and they first put out trailers, no one thought it was gonna be good. Everyone trashed on it. As soon as the trailer out, they're like, "Oh, Heath's Joker is gonna be stupid." And lo and behold, as soon as it came out, he was incredible Joker, fooled everyone. And I think the sort of thing happened with Bane, as you know, when they named him as Tom Hardy, everyone's like as Bane, and then he was incredible. Like,
yeah, I love Bane and Joker, and the whole Dark Knight trilogy was amazing.
Yeah, I was a huge fan. I ended up seeing all three in a marathon in when they did that marathon in theaters before Rises came out. Yeah. So we went there and saw 1 and 2, and then the new one.
That's cool.
Really cool, really cool.
Yeah, I always like those in the movie theaters when they play the movies. They have Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
they're bringing that at the theaters, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time too. So I can't wait to go back and see that. In the movie. I was too young; I didn't see it in the movie theaters.
Right.
So I can't wait to go see that in the movie theaters.
Yeah, that's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, I'm one of those people, like, I really don't go to the movies too much, but I make sure that I always go see like the superhero movies. That's like my big thing.
Right.
Because it's always so much more fun on the big screen.
Yeah, for sure.
And seeing it with an audience.
Well, yeah,
especially if you're seeing it like first weekend, where like people are just now seeing it and like spoilers haven't got out, and you know, people are genuinely surprised. There's just nothing like it.
And I'm a wrestling fan, so I like when people react.
Right.
Some people don't like it because they're like, "Oh, it's a movie, you should be quiet." But
it's like, no, I'm reacting to the movie.
Exactly. I like when the people pop for stuff. Like it adds to the fun of it. I think.
Right.
I remember vividly sitting in the movie theater during Endgame when all of a sudden, you know, you hear "On your left" and you start seeing the characters.
It blew up.
The movie theater started applauding. People are cheering and like it was incredible. Of course, the other big moment is when Cap picks up the hammer.
Right.
Like people like there were audible gasps in the theater.
Their minds.
Yes,
lost their minds.
But that's what's so fun about it. Like,
that's why it's fun.
I'm getting chills right now thinking about the audience just applauding for that scene because it was such a great moment.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh yeah, of course.
When Andrew and Toby came out, that was a big pop for them.
Yes.
Oh yeah, a huge pop.
Oh man, yeah. There's just it's just so much fun. There's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, a great top 5 list. Lots of cool things to discuss. So we really appreciate you talking about comic book characters with us because it's always fun to just chat up that stuff.
Yeah,
all right. So that is going to bring us to a short break while you check this out. And when we come back, you know what time it is. It's upcoming events time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do not forget to check out on our YouTube channel our discussion last week with Brother Bedlam, which has been getting a lot of fantastic reviews.
Yes,
a lot of people have told us how good that interview was. So make sure you check that out.
Check it out.
And then come back next week because next week we are one step closer to 100.
That's right.
You will see our exclusive interview with our good friend Keith Elliott Greenberg, who is not just a wrestling author, he is the wrestling author. You've seen his books, Too Sweet About the Indie Wrestling. You have seen him write things with the likes of Ric Flair, working on the Ric Flair book and the WWE Encyclopedias. He's a wrestling historian. Great interview we had with him last week. So definitely check that out. A lot of great stuff coming to our channel. We've got reviews of Power Pro Lucha. We've got watch-alongs for Royalty Wrestling. We have got interviews coming up from Bell to Bell, Power Pro Lucha, Royalty Wrestling.
We've been everywhere.
Wrestle Cup 3. Like we have just been everywhere doing everything, and we've got great interviews coming up. So make sure you check all of that out on the YouTube channel.
Do it.
Like, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff. And while you're at it, make sure that you are following our guest today on social media, because that's the latest and greatest place to see everything that they're doing. But
Links below.
why don't you let us know what you've got going on in your world?
Yeah, so every Friday, we're at the Monster Factory, 9 p.m. TRL is an hour show, only $5. This Friday, we'll be at a show called IWA.
Okay.
I think they were a promotion a while ago, and then they stopped running shows, and now they're coming back.
Okay.
So we'll be there this Friday.
Mhm.
That's in New Jersey. That's at 7 p.m.
Okay. Cool.
Monster Factory runs just one big show once a month. This show is April 20th. We've been here.
Yep.
It's the same day as WrestleMania. It's our WrestleMania show. Don't
cool.
worry, it's during the day, not during WrestleMania.
Right. Right.
Very cool.
Days 2 to 4.
There you go.
We'll be defending our tag belts against the Messengers of Misery.
Yeah.
Ooh, exciting.
And then on April 26th, I'll be at We Are One.
Nice.
My dad won't be there. He'll be away. My parents will be away.
Ah.
So it's just me. I'm in a 6-pack challenge
Ooh.
for the High Flying Championship.
Hey,
Oh,
there you
exciting
go.
stuff.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Awesome. So yeah, you got some stuff going on.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything in April, I think. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, definitely get out there, get to the Monster Factory, get to shows that you can,
Yes,
see Kid
do it.
Chaos, see
Do it.
Controlled Chaos, support them, support indie wrestling, you know, buy merch, do all the things, support these people, because these are the stars of tomorrow who are honestly stars today.
Right.
Independent wrestling is so fun and such a good time, and you get to see great people like our guest here, Kid Chaos, his dad in their tag team Controlled Chaos. Just amazing what you guys are doing. The Monster Factory shows are such a good time. You cannot go wrong getting to
No.
Paulsboro, New Jersey, and you get
Nope.
to see a wrestling show in the historic Monster Factory building. You get to see great wrestling, great stars like Kid Chaos, great tag teams. Tag team wrestling right now is so hot.
Absolutely.
And the Monster Factory is just, Monster Factory always has great tag team wrestling, you know? So definitely check out TRL on YouTube. You know, you can find Monster Factory all over socials.
Yep.
Again, follow our guests so you can keep up on everything that he is doing as well. Well, it's been great getting to talk to you today. I'm glad we were finally able to get you on the show. I know
Yes.
we've been talking about this for a while, but we really appreciate your time today. You know, it's been great having you, and you are welcome here anytime, sir.
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate being on, and congrats on your about to be 100th episode.
Thank you.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should be making an announcement this week on who our episode 100 guest is. So
yeah.
keep an eye out for that. But we appreciate that. We appreciate your time today, and we will be watching.
Thank you again. I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. All right. So for Kid Chaos, for Parmesan, I am King Ralph. That's going to do it for episode 98 of the Opinion City podcast. And remember, kindness is free, so be kind to each other. God bless you all, and we will see you guys next time.
Well, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. We had a ball making it. Thank you very much.